8:02 on the 2nd of January, and I just thought I'll film a quick video. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'll jump in the car now. Just wanted you guys to see the whip. So basically, there goes my keys. Basically, I wanted to do a quick 5, 6, 7 minute video just explaining, or not explaining, but running through if I missed my M140 or not. And I could make it into a YouTube short and just tell you right now, but I want to go into detail. So I've got my notes here. I might slap you on my head real quick. I'll show you around the car and I'll just go over it. So without further ado, let's get into it. I do miss certain things about my M140. So I'll just read the notes real quick. I missed my M140 because it was my first fast car, and it got me into loving cars, and it didn't get me into YouTube because I've always wanted to do YouTube videos. It didn't get me into YouTube, but it gave me a topic which I love to film videos on, and it gave me that reason to film the videos and enjoy making them. And obviously with the POVs, you guys obviously love them, hence why you subscribed, which is great. I do believe the M140 looks great. Now, certain angles don't really do it justice, and I personally believe the front of the M140s lack a little bit. They're not the most aggressive looking front end, and I'll overlay some clips of my older M140 or some pictures, and I just think it lacks. It looks a bit too normal, even though there is a different bumper between the standard 1 Series and the M140s, because it's got the canards and no fog lights and stuff. That's it. So to the untrained eye, you can't really tell the difference, whereas you know that this is an M2 comp versus a 220 or a 230 or even a 240. You know the difference, and obviously it helps with the mirrors. Everything about the M2 screams M2, whereas the M140, it's the back, the badge, and the performance. So to passerbys, it just goes unnoticed, which is a good and a bad thing, because it's a sleeper, but at the same time, you're paying 25,000. You don't really want it to be a sleeper. You want it to be, I've got the best 1 Series, I've got the B58, I want you to know about it. So in a way, it's more bark than, is that the right term? It's more bite than bark, the M140 is, whereas the M2 rips your face off and everybody knows about it. So that's why I don't really miss the M140 that much. I want an aggressive car. I want people to know it's the daddy, you know. I want it to look aggressive. I want it to be aggressive in every way, and I think for the price you're paying, it should be. So the M140 lacks in that aggression, especially in the front end. And going to the M2 now, I see that the arches, the front and the rear arches, are just so wide, whereas the 140, bit like the M4, which is why I kind of don't like the M4, is it's too streamlined. There's not really them flared arches like you get in the M2 and the M3, which again is what you're paying for, because it's basically like a mini wide body kit for the 2 Series, which is the M2. So that being said, the M140 obviously lacks it in certain areas where the M2 steps up. For example, just the fact it's got an LSD is 10 times better than an open diff. The open diff, the amount of horror stories of open diffs where people have kicked the back end out and it's just snapped, all the power's gone to the wrong wheel, and then it's just spanned the complete opposite way it wanted to, and so that just ends up totaling the cars, which makes them very hard to handle with all the traction off. With the traction on, it's not really an issue, but with the traction on, you don't get the fun, or not as much fun. So if I was to ever drive an M140 again, I would probably either buy an LSD to turn the traction off, or I would keep the traction on but have it in Sport Plus, so the traction is like 50% of the way, so it lets the back end slide, but if it's gonna snap, it will cut the power and you've got enough time to save yourself. So for anyone wondering if I would ever get an M140 again, Potentially, but only for the B58. And so I would rather say I'd get a 340 or a 340i Touring, because you get the B58, obviously it's a bigger package, it's more usable on a day-to-day basis, especially if you're doing long trips, because you're getting like 40 miles to the gallon on a motorway run, which compared to this is very, very thirsty. The S55, because it makes all of its power top end, like up top when that second turbo kicks in, you're having to rev the, pardon me, you're having to rev the life out of it to get that 400 plus horsepower figure, whereas the B58 is a single turbo twin scroll, and I found you get pretty much max power from like 3.5. Once you get past 5, you don't get no more power on a stock tune with the B58s. The top end is a bit flat on the B58s, which is also why the 140s are a lot more, I wouldn't say fun, because you can have fun in both, but they're a lot more, you might die at any given point, because the power kicks in so early, and if you aren't ready for it, you're gonna find out. That's not what you want, unless it is what you want, in which case I'd recommend buying an M140 right now and just praying your insurance pays out. In my opinion, the 140, if I was to give my older M140 a rating, you know, like how you'd rate, I don't know, women or men, if you're into that, out of 10, I would say from the back, the M140, I actually prefer the back to my old M140 than I do the M2 competition. However, the front, as you're about to guess, obviously, I think the front of the M140 lacks. So I would give an overall rating to the M140 an 8.5 out of 10, maybe a 9. But the M2 obviously is 10/10, and I know a lot of people agree. That's why so many of these companies that make carbon fiber or body kits, they make the M2 front bumper for the other BMWs. So I even saw one today of a G20, I think it's a G20 330 or 340, that new 3 Series shape with an M2 front bumper, and I was like, it doesn't work for me, but I can see why people have done it. Like, especially obviously if you follow, I'm sure a lot of you guys know Brett Barnes. He's just recently done a video with his M140, and he did what I wanted to do on mine, which was get the M2 competition front bumper fitted. So it's basically, it fits the 1 Series headlights, and then it goes on just like a normal 1 Series bumper, but it's the M2 comp front end, which looks fantastic. And obviously if you aren't already subscribed to Brett, go check him out. Big love, Brett, if you're watching this. Amazing car, great guy. We need to meet up again soon. So to summarize this video real quick, if I was to say would I ever get an M140 again, I'd probably be lying. But if it was to choose between the B58 and the S55, personally, I would probably choose the B58. So in a way, I do miss my M140, but at the same time, I don't miss my M140. Let me just, I don't think you guys have ever seen the front of this, or not the front, but the engine bay on my M2. So as you can see, massive engine. You've got the carbon strut, the boxes for the air filters, for the turbos, the not charger, that's the coolant, whatever it is. Yeah, again, I'm not a mechanic. The S55 versus B58. Personally, I would choose a B58 in this M2. Like, to me, that is just perfection. It's amazing, especially the front end. Just check got my keys yet. Like, that just looks fantastic to me, and I couldn't change anything on it. It's just perfect. So we'll hop back in and I'll summarize the video real quick. So, do I miss it? Yes, sometimes. Would I get another one? No, probably not, because I've just got the weirdest look from that woman. Would I get another one? No. Do I miss it? Sometimes. Why won't it sit? There we go. It's probably going to tip forward. Like I said, I don't think I would actually get another M140 because there's no real point to it when you've already got the better version or the upgrade. I do just miss having that instant torque. That I basically just miss the B58. I don't really miss the M140. They do look great, and in certain angles I would argue that the M140 looks better than the M2. Like I say, from the back 3/4, I think the M140 has it, but maybe that's just because I had it for longer. Do you guys want longer videos or shorter videos? Because I can do both. It just means I have to talk about less because I do ramble a lot. So let me know if you prefer shorter videos or if you prefer longer POVs. Obviously this isn't a POV, I can do them anytime. I know you guys like those videos, but again, if you want to see more content on my M140, go check out my previous videos. There's probably 30, that might be a stretch. There's definitely 20 videos on my M140 on the channel. If you want to go see that, if you're looking to get an M140. Obviously, if you're just bothered about cars in general, again, consider subscribing because I've got the M2 now. Maybe in the future we might do some car features. We might do a project car, who knows? We'll see where this YouTube thing goes. But in the meantime, yeah, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 10,000 by the end of this year. Obviously, it's the 2nd of January 2023. So we've got a full 12 months to get 9,000 of you guys, or 8,900. I'd nearly said I had 1,500 then. Not yet, but soon. Again, rambling. So I'll leave you with a quick summary of, no, I don't miss it. But that's the camera just telling me I need to shut the now. Oh, I'm gonna have to shut the up. So yeah, please do consider subscribing, like the video, let me know what you want to see, future content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one next week, because weekly uploads. Okay, big love, peace. I'm gonna shut up now.